Morning everyone, Buddy here from the Denman Homestead, and what I have here in this box is possibly going to level up our Etsy store, maybe. We have to learn all the things, but Creality was nice enough to send us the Falcon 2 Engraver. This will do wood engraving, metal engraving, wood cutting, all the things. All right, let's open it up. Okay, everything looks packaged very nicely. Big pieces of foam. We have our operation guide. Piece of wood to get started with. Instruction manual. Toolkit. Power supply. Laser. Legs. So, whoop, those are the legs. Put them on. Safety glasses. Power cord. Air pump. And the frame of the engraver with the little air hose. I think that is everything. Oh, and the metal safety thing for to go underneath. So we're going to start by putting the legs on, and they do give you extensions if you need to raise the. If you have a taller project, you can put extensions on these legs and have a taller frame. Now we're just going to use the standard legs. It's got 3 positions on here, so you can, if you have a smaller workspace or a larger workspace, we're going to do the middle position. And there it is. Stands up like that. Next, we have our air pump. It's got a little nozzle, just pop that plug off. Plug in the air hose right there. Set this off to the side. Got my air pump plugged in over here on this side. There's the laser. That, and it's got thumb screws right here. You just loosen, slide the laser into place, and tighten it down. Okay. Then we'll plug the laser into the controller board right here on top, right behind the laser, just like that. take our air hose and pop it down into the top of the laser. Just like that. We can clean this up a little bit. It's Velcro straps. Okay, laser is on. And underneath, to protect whatever surface you're working on, have this, looks like aluminum sheet. Goes in the center. And the last thing for setup is power. So that is quick and easy. And then we'll need to get the laptop and install the software on it. And one more thing we have that we haven't put in here yet is the honeycomb pad that's going to go on the bottom where our print will sit on top of. But yeah, that's it. That's the whole setup of the Creality Falcon 2. It's been a couple days, but the other package that we were waiting on from Creality, it has arrived. So I showed you the small surface protector, this one, that you put on your table, that came with the standard package for the Falcon 2. Check this out. This is the extra large. This covers like the entire build surface, which is awesome. But there's more. We also got the giant honeycomb build plate. Now you can see a little bit of stuff from my little test I did, but first off, it keeps whatever material that you are engraving or cutting super still with this honeycomb pattern. But then it also gives you like this much space between the work area and the surface that you're working on. So you have this pretty deep like honeycomb here that just keeps your laser from going through accidentally or anything like that for your work plate. So this is super cool, and it's giant, so it takes up the entire like build area as well. But there's more. So since we are doing all this testing indoors, and the first one I did just to see what would happen was a little bit smoky. Check this out. The enclosure. So this is an enclosure for the entire workspace. You just kind of put these poles together almost like you're building like a tent, and then you put this thing over it. It's got the laser safe material right here, so for your viewing area, and then you can zip this up. But if you look right there in the corner, there is also over here, there is a fan that is pulling any of the smoke from the work area out, and there's a hose. This is just kind of makeshift right now, but there's a hose that I can lift this window up, close the window on it so that the smoke, and there's Luna out there, you let her in, so that the smoke and everything will exhaust out of the house. So this is super cool, especially if you're doing something indoors, which is what we're doing right now because we don't really have any other space for it. So let's get the new build surface protector in here, the honeycomb plate in here, and we'll just do a test. I'll show you some of the settings that I set on the computer, which I'm still kind of learning and perfecting, but I'm getting better, I think. And then we'll just do a test print. Now that I've got my file imported here, I can select it, and I can come over here and change the speed and the power based on what I am cutting out. So I'm going to make this, since we're using basswood, we're going to go with a 500 speed, and they do give you a document that shows you what speeds work best, what speeds and powers work best for different materials. I'm going to keep the power at, actually let's go a little bit darker. I'm going to put the power at 70% power. So this is going to give us a little bit slower, a little bit darker engraving on our project. And I can also select it. I recommend running the preview for any project that you're going to do. It will show you the steps and the process of everything. You can see what's going to be skipped and what's going to be engraved. That shows you all the way start to finish of what it's going to do. It does tell you the estimated time is about 5 minutes. So definitely run your preview before you get started. And once you have your image and your settings set up, this is how simple this is. Your image is in here, your settings are set up here. Then you're going to use this frame option right here, and the frame option is going to show you the boundary of your image. So let's get this thing framed out on the Falcon 2, and then we can start our image. So now with the surface protector and the honeycomb build area on here, we're going to get our material. This is one of the test basswood cuts that comes with the Creality Falcon 2 in the box. So we're going to go ahead and center this on here. This guy right here kind of shows you different thicknesses and how to adjust the laser on top of the thickness. So since we're doing a thin basswood thickness, I'm going to use this top, and I'll show you how you adjust the laser. It's super easy. So you just put this on your build material. We're going to move the laser over, and there's some thumb screws over here on the side. These thumb screws are right here. We're just going to loosen those. Once these are loosened, the laser kind of slides in place. We're going to set it on that top little step right there, showing that's the distance we want off of the material for this material. And then I'm just going to tighten those thumb screws down. And now I can take this and set it aside because I've got the right distance. Now with my settings all in there, what we're going to do is we're going to frame out the build area. And this is going to tell us where it's going to cut so that you know you can center your material where the laser is actually going to do the engraving and the cutting. And so far, I haven't found like a perfect method for doing this yet. But typically what I'll do is I'll do a frame and then I'll kind of adjust, and then I'll do a frame until I get it centered. So I'll kind of show you what I've got with that process so far. See that I have the material here, I have the laser kind of next to it. So I'm just gonna hit frame on the computer, and you'll see it's gonna go around and show me where it's going to cut. So right now I know I need to move it up a little bit because the laser was off the top. So I'm just going to adjust that up and then hit frame again. Okay, it's staying on all sides. That looks pretty good. I want to go up a tad bit more, I think. Maybe third time's a charm. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now that I know I've got that on there, I can actually close this up and we can start cutting. Just zips up. You want to try not to bump the table or anything because everything is positioned where it's supposed to be. And then we're just going to hit start on the print on the computer. Okay, so I sped it up, obviously, but that was about 6.5 minutes and turned out pretty good. The camera doesn't exactly, it's making it a little lighter, but you can read all of you can see Plant Nourish Thrive, established 2013. You can see everything, the house in the middle. Really cool. So you can make this darker by upping the power, but you just want to make sure that sometimes if you go too dark, you'll start to see little burn edges, like because it was just hot on the wood, so it can kind of fade the picture a little bit. You can also go quicker if you want, but the slower, the more detail you can get from what I've discovered. So you could go slower and more powerful for a detailed, darker image. If you want to cut, you can do multiple passes at a higher power to cut this out of the wood. So this is awesome. Like, I'm super excited, and we have some projects planned. One project coming up that I think we're going to make a video about pretty soon once I get everything nailed down. But just real quick, I'll show you a couple of other neat little features on here. So on the laser itself, you have 3 lights. You have air, fire, and lens. And if any of these are red because it's not getting enough air, it's detecting a fire on your build material, or if the lens is dirty, which they do give you a brush that you can clean the lens off, all these will turn red and it will turn off. It will stop working as a safety precaution. You also have a couple of other safety features. You have a key lock, so I can take my key and I can turn this off, and that will prevent unauthorized use. And you have an emergency cutoff switch that you can just hit at any time and it'll kill everything, kill power to all of it. You can also control from this area right here if you want to control with a memory card. I have not tested that out. It just seemed much easier using a computer hooked up to it with the USB-C cable, but you can do that, as well as when I was doing the aligning, if I wanted to just make some small adjustments, I could hit these arrows and it would move the laser over just a tad bit, so I could make some tiny adjustments right here from the Creality Falcon 2 without having to, move the plate and then do the frame. So small adjustments, that works really well, as well as sending the laser to the home location with just the click of a button. But man, this thing is awesome. Obviously, I went ahead and opened this up just so you guys could see the cut better, and it was just a small engraving, didn't take very long, so it didn't get very smoky. But if you are doing a larger project, maybe some cutting as well, keeping this enclosure over it, if you're indoors, is awesome. It's such a cool like add-on, having that enclosure. So, a couple things to note. This is the 40-watt version of the Falcon 2. There is a 22-watt, a less powerful one, but the 40-watt version does have that precision cutting. It's got more power. You can, on certain things like aluminum, you can do colors. It has color grading by adjusting the power of the laser. You can actually kind of create some different colors, which I'm super interested in trying out. I showed you the air pump when I set it up. One thing to note is that this model has that unique. It's very unique to laser cutters, engravers, is that it has the air assist. And the air assist, it allows that air to run through the hose and blow past that laser, so that you're not, because as you cut and as you do engraving and things like that, these little particles of wood, whatever you're working with, can actually build up, and that air assist is keeping everything clean. It's keeping your workspace clean, your laser clean, and it knows when it needs more air, when it needs less air. It's super cool, the air assist setup. So I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get the first project going on this thing. And so just so you know, the large honeycomb base, the large workspace protector, and the hood, The enclosure, that's all like a sold separately package. It's not part of the standard package, but I am going to leave a link in the description. They have a Black Friday sale going on right now, which is awesome. It's like over $500 in savings on the 40-watt version of the Falcon Creality 2. And really, it's just, even though I have some experience in 3D printing and adjusting those kind of settings, this was not that difficult to get set up and running out of the box. Obviously, I'm learning the more I use it, making those adjustments, because this is the 40-watt laser and you can use that like precise mode for doing different things like cutting and darker engravings and lighter engravings and all of that. It's very simple to use. Surprisingly, a lot more simple than I thought it was going to be when I first unboxed everything and got into the Lightburn software. But yeah, I love it. So check out that link in the description if you're interested in picking one of these up. There's so many different things that you can do with it. It is the Creality Falcon 2 40-watt laser. All right, that's going to do it for this one and our test print for the setup. And next we're going to do a project, and I cannot wait. So stay tuned for that one. All right, I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.